Good morning, this is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Seeing some partly cloudy skies out there at the current time as we start to see some of those clouds making their way into the area with our temperatures sitting just below freezing and still seeing some light winds. Overall, should see a fairly quiet weather day for our working hours today, and we'll see a strong cold front dropping through the area as we move through the overnight time frames. Going to bring a chance of maybe a few light snow showers, but not expecting any significant accumulation. But it will bring some quite windy and really cold conditions for the weekend ahead. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, area of low pressure well off to our east, and that next system located over the Great Lakes, going to see that dropping through the area, and that will be what brings that cold Arctic air into the region. Take a look at the current visible satellite. We can see, as mentioned, those clouds moving in from the west. We expect that trend to continue, and we'll see mostly cloudy conditions as we get into the afternoon time frame and eventually becoming overcast as that system continues to drop into the region. If we take a look at the high resolution model for what we can expect, as mentioned, dry and increasing clouds as we move through the day today and going into the evening time frame, mainly after the 20 local time frames when we'll see that first boundary drop into the area. You can see the model indicating some light snow showers along that, a bit spotty in nature as there is some dry air in place, but we can't rule out a chance of seeing some light snow at times pushing through the local Wallops area, but overall not expecting much in the way of accumulation, maybe up to a dusting. And then as that second kind of reinforcing boundary pushes through, might even see a few light snow showers along that as well. But we should see that wrapping up as we pass that 6 a.m. time frame. And then behind that is when we'll start to see those winds quickly increasing, seeing those peak winds up around 40 knots as we get into the start of the day on Saturday, and continuing to increase through the day, where we'll see those peak winds pushing 50 to 55 miles per hour through the day. Those wind chill values will drop down into the negatives degrees, and will be quite a blustery day as we move through our day on Saturday. But things will dry out as we move through the rest of the weekend with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, but still staying cold overall. We zoom out here looking at the longer term forecast. We'll see that deep area of low pressure that develops off the coast and brings that tight pressure gradient and those windy conditions. We'll see that continue to move away as we move through Sunday, but Sunday will continue to be breezy, not as breezy as what we'll see Saturday, but still on the breezy side and cold. So expect those wind chill values to not recover much, getting into the positive single digits through much of the day on Sunday. And then eventually this area of high pressure will slowly build into the area and continue to decrease those winds as we get into the start of next week. But things do continue to look dry as we move through the beginning of the week. And we'll start to see those temperatures rebounding with those thickness values rising here. As we get into the middle of the week, we'll start to see temperatures back to more seasonable highs into the 40s for this time of year. And things continue to look dry until we get into late Wednesday, possibly into Thursday. As you can see, models indicating chance for some rain showers pushing through the area during that time. And then moving into the later portion of the week, it does look like we'll see a few waves moving through the upper level flow that could bring back another slightly cooler, a couple cooler days as we move into the end of the week and into the weekend. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, as mentioned, looking at green conditions as we move through our working hours today. We'll see our high temperature peaking around 37 degrees. We'll see our ceilings developing around 10,000 feet as we get into the afternoon time frame, and keeping those winds fairly light with a westerly component as we move through the afternoon. And going into the evening, we'll briefly see a southerly component before becoming westerly once again, and skies will become overcast as those ceilings continue to lower moving into that time frame. We introduced that orange risk for precip after that 20 local time frame. Best chance will be with that first boundary is seeing a light snow shower pushing through the area, but we'll continue to keep a yellow risk through the remainder of the overnight time frame here, as we could see with that second boundary a chance of a light snow shower. But again, overall expecting total accumulation up to a dusting, so nothing too significant here. We'll have a chance for some reduced ceilings and visibilities with that first band, or that first front moving through the area. And then after that second front, we'll start to see those colors for risk of that wind advisory increasing to a red risk, with that wind advisory becoming likely by the start of the day on Saturday. As those winds shift northwesterly, we'll see sustained winds 19 to 24 knots, and as mentioned, those peak gusts up to 40 knots to start the day on Saturday, and that's when we'll see those wind chills as well, dropping likely into the single digits and then creeping below zero, so do have that red risk for that as well. Tides running about a half a foot above normal. And for the weekend, as mentioned, mainly windy and cold through the entirety of the weekend. Windy for Saturday mainly, as we'll see those winds gusting up to 50 to 55 miles per hour. Wind chills will stay at or below zero through the day. Actual high temperature of 21 degrees, and that will be early in the morning, as we'll see those temperatures falling through the day as that Arctic air comes into the area. So continue with that wind advisory criteria through Saturday and likely into the first part of Saturday night, as we'll continue to see some gusts up in the 40 mile per hour range, and we'll slowly start to see those winds weakening through the overnight time frame. But with those breezy conditions and that low temperature expected around 9 degrees, we're expecting those wind chills to be below zero through the entirety of the Saturday night time frame. And then as we go into Sunday, again, still breezy, but not as strong of winds as what we'll see Saturday, and that will allow those wind chill values to start off near or below zero and then increase in just the single digits through the day on Sunday, with the actual high temperature of 24 degrees. Extended forecast here, as mentioned, looking dry and fairly quiet for Monday and Tuesday, as those temperatures slowly start to rebound back into the 30s for Monday, and we'll climb back into the low 40s as we get into Tuesday. Our warmest day in the next 7 days looks to be Wednesday, with that a chance of seeing some rain showers in the area as well. And then we'll stay in the 40s as we move into Thursday, as we likely see another brief and not quite as cold shot moving into the area for the end of the week. So that's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again Monday at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend.